Hello, welcome to this video on the classification of teaching aids. I'm Nitmi, number 25, a postgraduate student in the University of Colombo. Just imagine you're in a classroom where a teacher keeps on speaking and there's no pictures, videos or any activity at all. Boring, isn't it? Well, that's when teaching aids come into role. Teaching aids are special helpers for teachers to explain the things much more easier and in a better way that the students can understand. Let's go through this and see what are teaching aids, the importance of teaching aids in our classroom, and the different types of teaching aids. What are teaching aids? These are special tools used by teachers to make the teaching learning process more exciting, interactive, and understandable. The teaching aids should be simple, meaningful, purposeful, accurate, portable, up-to-date, a motivator, and of course, it should match the mental level of the students. According to the things that are used, it can be classified into 6 groups. These visual aids are very important in the classroom environment. Let's see what they are. These can make the complex concepts easier. Classroom doesn't become a boring place anymore. The creativity and curiosity is aroused among the students. It can help students to remember the concepts very easily. Topics which are very difficult to understand can be easily demonstrated. It makes the teaching learning process more meaningful while making the student not only just a learner but an active participant. So, let's see what are these 6 categories. Teaching aids are divided as visual aids, audio-visual aids, audio aids, models, live specimens, and active specimens. Again, visual aids can be divided into 2 parts as non-projected aids and projected aids. Non-projected aids we are divided again into 2 parts as display boards and graphic aids. Projected aids are also divided under several categories. Audio aids are divided as records and discs. So now let's move on to each category and see the meaning of each category. Let's move on to the first category, visual aids. In other words, it's called visual representations, things seen from our eyes. These should be colorful, attractive, and of course easy to understand. Some of the visual aids are pictures, charts, graphs, posters, videos, and of course interactive whiteboards. For an example, if we consider we are going to teach the parts of a flower, you can draw it in a colorful poster and show them, which will be more interesting for the students, of course. As I said, visual aids are divided into 2 parts. Now, let's see what they are. As I said before, visual aids are divided into 2 parts. that is, non-projected aids and projected aids. First, let's consider about non-projected aids. These are physical tools and resources which doesn't require any electronic media. Let's move on and see what are these non-projected aids. Non-projected aids are of two types, display boards and graphic aids. What are display boards? Display boards are like boards which we use to display notices, to showcase the students' work, to display some of vocabulary words, or maybe the classroom rules and also the student achievements are few of the examples which we display. What are these display boards? Blackboards, maybe whiteboards, flannel boards, magnetic boards, bulletin boards. Those are coming under display boards. These graphic aids are something other than the boards. They are more interactive. They are like flashcards which we use for language learning, and the charts and graphs for data comparison, and the diagrams and posters which we use to inform something. What are these graphic aids? They are graphs, diagrams, charts, maps, posters, flashcards, and etc. So you can see non-projected aids are also called as traditional teaching aids, which were used earlier. But still, we are using it in our classroom. The next category under visual aids was the projected aids. So, from the word you can understand, these use an electronic media. For an example, a projector maybe. These are more used these days because with the digital world that we are moving in. And these are like dynamic presentations that we use to enhance the knowledge of the students. Step-by-step solutions that are shown to a complex problem. So you can see some of the projected aids are overhead projectors, slide projectors, multimedia projectors, visual presenters, film projectors, opaque projectors are some. Moving on to the audio aids. Audio aids are mostly called as auditory aids for auditory learning, for the development of the listening skills. These are more enjoyable and of course memorable. This is specially used in language learning. In this digital world where visual aids has got a main place, audio aids can also be very interesting. This can be through radios while listening to a song to develop the understandability and memory. It can be from a telephone conversation, listening and then improving your vocabulary. So you can see auditory aids are also used in our classrooms. A combination of both auditory and visual elements, we call them audio-visual aids. This is enhancing the teaching learning process more. Audio-visual aids are like videos, films, documentaries and etc. Because sometimes pictures only or audio only might be boring. So we use a blend of it to make it more meaningful. We usually use the computer or the television to give the audio-visual experience. For an example, showing a video clip with audio in it about the numbers, where students learn the numbers looking at the picture. While learning how to pronounce it, they hear it. So you can see this blend of audio and visual aids help more in today's classroom. What are models? Models give us a hands-on experience where students are more engaged with the concept rather than just seeing and believing. Models are specially used on lessons where the actual element is unable or difficult to bring into the classroom. Models can be usually used in biology lessons, geography lessons, or mechanical lessons. For an example, when teaching the human skeleton, having a model of the skeleton will make students touch, see, and hear all together. Then it will be more easier for students to remember rather than just looking at a picture or a video of those. So you can see these models are more interactive than visual aids or audio aids. Moving on, we are going to live specimens. This way, learning becomes real life and more engaged in the situation. Students will be more curious when live specimens are used in the teaching learning process rather than even a model, because they are living things. And of course, they will learn to observe. Their observation skills, reasoning skills will be developed. For an example, when teaching about a plant and the parts of it, rather than just showing a picture or a video or even a model of a plant, it's better to bring a live plant and show them where they can touch and feel. They will retain it more. So you can see live specimens are an interesting part. No difference from live specimens, active specimens are using live organisms and observing them throughout a time period. Using these in aids of teaching will provide a dynamic setting where students can get the real life scenario. Especially, they learn to protect and handle with care when using an active specimen. For an example, to see the life cycle of a butterfly, they can bring some butterfly eggs on a bottle and keep it for some days and observe how a caterpillar comes out, how it makes a cocoon, and how a beautiful butterfly is coming out. So you can see active specimens, live specimens, these are more interactive and exciting. Throughout this video, I hope you have got more facts about teaching aids. These are the categories that comes under teaching aids. So as a teacher, you can use either of these aids according to the lesson. You can change it by even combining one or more aids together. This will make our classroom setting more interactive and enhancing. Students will be more engaged rather than being passive learners. I hope you got a better idea about teaching aids. Thank you very much for listening and watching this video. Goodbye.